And welcome back. It is time for Friday Focus as we go more in-depth in some of the issues of the day. Please be joined by Matt Gagnon. He is the CEO of the Maine Policy Institute. That's a free market institute and think tank right here in Portland. He's also a columnist with our partners at the BDN. And of course, you can catch him every morning as the radio host for our radio partners at News Radio WGAN. And with that long introduction, great to see you again, Matt, on a Friday.
Nice to see you.
Here he is. Let's dive into this. First of all, obviously, just a short time ago, we heard from Governor Janet Mills reacting to the report, the full report that we got from the commission that she appointed to dive into the details of obviously Maine's worst ever mass shooting. Your reaction to what she said this afternoon, and really no policy coming out of that, just sort of reacting to it.
No policy yet, but that's not that surprising, honestly, because they're out of session and we're not really going to be doing a lot of the work that we'll be reacting to this from a policy perspective until we hit December, January, February.
Right.
So I'm not terribly surprised. I think there's one sentiment that stands out to me from what she said, and you'll have to forgive me for paraphrasing, but it's she said something like that it was a catastrophic human failure, something in that regard. And I think that that's really the big lesson. When you read that report, it's over 200 pages, and it's very clear as you read that from one point to the next, there were several opportunities where we could have stopped or intervened in some fashion to make sure that this shooting didn't happen, that Robert Card was not in a position to do what he ultimately did.
Right.
And in each case, it was a human failure and in the system, and that's what really led to what happened.
And there was some, and she's not the first, but there was some finger pointing in what she had to say. Obviously, looking at the Army Reserves, could they have done more when he was obviously hospitalized briefly in New York State last summer? And obviously pointing a finger at the Saginaw County Sheriff's Office, too, which has been highlighted in the report, but the governor doing it again today.
Clearly not the first person to make that association, but she was, I think, rather blistering in her remarks as it relates to their role in this. And I think that that's really highlighting what I'm talking about, though. The systems that exist in Maine today, I mean, whether or not they should be reformed, we could have that debate, I'm sure, upcoming. But they were such that you could have used them to have stopped a person like this from doing this. And my question for policymakers as they charge forward and try to react to this and then come up with solutions to what happened is to what degree can you create a system that employs human beings making decisions to fix a system that has human beings making decisions?
It's looking at human error is hard to eliminate entirely. Let's jump topics here a little bit because obviously next Tuesday, September 10th, we have a big night. The presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, possibly the only one that we're going to get. As you look forward to that, what are the stakes in that debate?
Oh, they're huge. And this is the second first debate in a lot of ways, if you think about it. I think that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris both need this debate for a variety of reasons. For Kamala Harris, she had obviously a very good month when she took over for Joe Biden. The polling has reflected that the Democrats are enthusiastic. She's leading in some national polls right now. The swing states aren't quite as rosy, but she still is tied leading in many of them. So things look good for her. But if she wants to keep that momentum going, she has to have a very good performance, and she has to basically prove that she should be the Democratic nominee and that she could be president of the United States. For Trump, on the other side of this, he had a huge lead. He was sitting there when Biden was in the race, almost guaranteed to win if Biden had stayed in. And now, whether you think it's tied or whether you think he's slightly down, he's certainly in a position that's a little bit below where he used to be. So he wants to come back. He wants to convince voters that he is still the front runner and that he's the person that's going to win. And he needs a knockout debate performance to make that happen.
And if they're both relatively satisfied with that debate, do you think that may be the only one that we get between now and Election Day, just 2 months away?
I think the only way we get another debate, honestly, is if it's a push. If neither one of them really comes out of that looking like they were the clear winner of the debate, I think they might both still think that they need to do a debate again to try to get that knockout blow, to try to get that advantage. But if one of them clearly wins, I think that this is the only one you're getting.
They're probably the only one. All right, Matt Gagnon, it was always great to get your insights on a Friday. And Stephanie, let's send it back to you.